Today we're talking pet hair removal. If you've been struggling to remove pet hair during your details, stick around because we're about to solve that problem. So in this video, I'm going to be showing all the different pet hair removal options I have that I keep on my mobile rig. I do believe in having multiple options. Not all cars are the same, not all carpets are the same, and it's not uncommon to have one of my pet hair removal options not actually work in the vehicle, so we have to go to another removal option or whatever have you, just to make sure we can get everything out. We need different shapes, sizes, different coarseness, stuff like that for all the different carpets we have out there. So I'm going to be going through these one by one. They are going to go kind of in order of least aggressive to most aggressive. So the end of all these options are going to be probably what I would say would be the best options to have, but they are going to sometimes be a little bit more pricey. So not everybody may be able to do that right now. So we're going to show you options that everybody can do as of right now on Amazon. Actually, most of these can be purchased on Amazon for relatively cheap price. So I'm going to kind of, best I can remember, I'm going to go over the prices of everything whenever I start showing all these brushes. So let's get into it. The first one up is going to be our diamond one. I don't have a specific name for this, but what this has is different teeth in it so that you can actually get onto the surfaces better. And this kind of goes inside of the carpet fibers and helps to kind of dig stuff out of it. And you got a smooth edge as well. Rubber is always going to be one of your better options for removing pet hair. It helps to kind of grab everything throughout the vehicle and kind of pull it into a nice pile that you can either vacuum up or blow out. So number one on the list is going to be what I call the diamond removal tool, and this one I believe runs like $6.99, $7.99 on Amazon. I think they normally come in a pack of a couple, which I recommend because inevitably my guys lose these all the time. So they're pretty inexpensive to replace, but they do work. But they're probably the least aggressive on the list. So the next one up is going to be probably one that a lot of people have seen before, and that's going to be the lily brush. The lily brush has been around for a while, it's tried and true, but it's got a really flimsy rubber on it. So sometimes that can make the grabbing process better, or it can make it worse. On some of these vehicles that have the impossible carpet in them, this is just gonna slide right across. It's not gonna really dig in too well, but some of the older style carpets, this is gonna work fantastic. I believe this one comes in at like 9 or 10 bucks, maybe like 11 bucks, something like that. But you can also find this on Amazon as well. So next up on the list is going to be the block. Again, I don't have a specific name for this. We just call it the block. It's got a plastic liner to help keep it firm, but each side kind of has different grip levels. So these little teeth coming out are going to be different sizes, and this is just really good for all around like big, the back ends of like SUVs and stuff. These are going to work fantastic for that. They're gentle around all the surfaces, so you're not going to tear anything up. We use the crap out of these. They do work very well, and I believe these come in a pack of 2 for like 12 bucks, 13 bucks, but this is probably what we start with each time. When we see pet hair, we're going to pull this out first, and this is going to tell us, do we need to go more aggressive or are we good to go? Next up is not really a full-blown pet removal tool, but this helps actually in the crevices of the seats. If you have hair stuck in those little areas right by the seat bolts, this will help kind of grab that out. This is a really stiff bristle, so it's going to grab nicely onto that carpet and help pull all that hair out of there. And then next up on the list is going to be the Fur Dozer. This one is more of a name brand pet hair removal tool. If you see, the grooves are different widths. These are different stiffnesses also, so that kind of gets you different options as far as what surfaces they're going to work on. This one works great, but I do find in most case scenarios on the more like impossible carpet, kind of Honda, Toyota, Subaru, those type of carpets, this does not grip very well on that. So this one does not really get used a whole lot unless it's like older Tahoes or older vehicles that have that more plush carpet, not this crappy new stuff they've been putting in vehicles. Next up on the list, this is probably one of my favorites, but this is a pumice stone. This can be found on Amazon. They're really inexpensive. I think this one right here is gonna like run like $7, $8, but they last forever. So we wear these down into really small sections, and I actually hang on to those small sections because you never know when you're gonna need to get in a little tight area. The one thing I will caution against this though is if this touches anything plastic or leather, it is going to scratch it, and it is going to permanently scratch it. There will be absolutely nothing you can do to fix it. So we don't use these around seats or up next to the actual door panels or stuff like that. We use this for more wide open area, but this has a ton of grip. So this is just like the brute force get the bulk of it out of the way, and then we start actually coming in with our rubber stuff up next to the plastics so that we don't do any damage with these, because these will damage plastics and leather, and you will not be able to fix it, and it will absolutely be noticeable. So if you're going to use a pumice stone, it's an excellent choice, but just be aware that it is going to damage surfaces. Don't let your guys set them on dashboards, set them on seats. If this thing moves at all, it's going to permanently damage that surface. So great tool, but needs to be used with caution. Next up on the list, now we're getting to something a little bit more aggressive, and I believe these are about 30 bucks, but this is the For Real, and this goes on the rigid vacuum, the 1 1/4 hose. And what this is a rubber base that you can actually scrub the carpets with and then suck the hair up as you're scrubbing it. This works absolutely fantastic, but if you have to go over a lot of surface area, this can actually be quite a bit of work. So usually if we do, we're gonna go after it with this first, and then we're gonna come in with the vacuum and get the remainder up with this. Now, last on the list, this is hands down my favorite tool that we have, and that is going to be trusty Tornador. This thing right here is a lifesaver in every aspect of detailing. But now the key to this is going to be you have to run a compressor that can handle a gun like this. This does require a decent amount of air supply, so the Tornador is going to need you can't just get a small little pancake compressor from Home Depot or Harbor Freight. You need to make sure that the numbers on the compressor match the requirements of the gun, or else this thing will be almost useless. So the way this works is it's got this needle inside that spins, and that helps to kind of turn and get underneath the actual pet hair and blow it up. So a lot of times we'll take one of our brushes, brush everything up into a pile, take the Tornador and come in and blast that out of the vehicle, and then vacuum up anything left in there with the For Real, and it makes for a pretty quick process. So with all of these tools, we've actually been able to cut down our pet hair time by a significant amount. I mean, I would say on average, even really bad pet hair vehicles, me and one other person, it's really only tacking on an extra like 20 to 30 minutes worth of work. Some of them, if it's a really big vehicle, can take like up to an hour, but that means that you're able to get it done with a good profit margin, and you're not having to charge $150 because it's taking you 4 hours to remove the pet hair. So I mean, that's going to get to a point where you're going to lose business because people aren't going to want to pay that much. But there is a good upsell point with the pet hair, because even if your customers use the drive-through car washes, most of them are going to make those people vacuum out their own vehicle. And pet hair can be pretty tricky. It's not just going to come up with a vacuum every single time. So that makes you look even better as the detailer when you come in with one of these fancy tools, and you can remove all the pet hair that they already know they couldn't remove because they've tried at the drive-through car wash. So I do recommend having at least a couple of these tools, maybe not the most expensive ones first. If you're new, don't just jump in buying compressors and stuff. There's other things that are a little bit more important, I would say, at the beginning as far as initial setup. But if you've been at it for a while and you have a decent compressor, look into getting a Tornador. That thing is an absolute lifesaver when it comes to pet hair, large debris, anything like that. It cuts down a ton of the vacuuming time. So as far as all these pet hair brushes go, we do use pretty much all of them. The diamond one is probably the least used of all of them, just because we have other options that are very, very similar. But if you don't have a lot to spend, go with that diamond one, because that one is super cheap and it's really effective. You're still gonna need a little bit more elbow grease than some of the other options, but it's gonna absolutely cut your vacuuming time down significantly from if you were just trying to vacuum up dog hair. And for anybody who's tried to just vacuum up dog hair, you know exactly what kind of a nightmare I'm talking about. Any of these options are going to solve that nightmare problem. The more aggressive ones, the ones towards the end, those are definitely gonna be the better ones. But I recommend having at least one of these if you're gonna be a mobile detailer.